even if they, honest to God, bought a ticket and won the lottery, I'm gonna be like, no, dog, that shit's crazy. That's cheating. There's no way I'm sitting there and the guy that's pulling the numbers wins the lottery. Like, get the out of here. All right, I've been meaning to watch this. How a $3 hot dog uncovered a $24.7 million.
Achieve the American dream if your dad doesn't own a ticket. So how do you achieve the American dream if your dad doesn't own an emerald?
All right, this is from friend of the show, now definite friend of the show, Vince Vintage. Famously said, my reacts were awesome, so you should go show him some love and subscribe to him. His video is titled, How a $3 Hot Dog Uncovered a $24.7 million lottery scam.
You walk into the store, you plunk down $1, and with nothing but luck, you win the lottery. And while that's a great dream, of course, I mean, we all know the odds are astronomical, but what if we could maybe control those odds? Or better yet, eliminate them completely? Illegally winning a mind-boggling $24 million over the course of a decade, Eddie Tipton's considered the greatest lottery cheat of all time. A paid actor. But you gotta ask, how the hell did he pick the winning lottery numbers? Multiple.
Bro, what is happening? The first fucking second of the video had all the captions. I turned off the captions. I turned it back on. Now there's no captions. What the heck?
Times for over 10 years. Well, it's kind of simple. Eddie Tipton worked for the lottery. On December 29, 2010, the Hot Lotto in Iowa held its drawing for a $16.4 million jackpot. Now, the winning ticket had been purchased at a Quick Trip convenience store in Des Moines, Iowa. Why would you live there? But for someone, the American dream, became very real. But then the ticket went unclaimed for days, and then it was weeks, and then it was months.
Well, it's been almost a month since we had announced that we had a Hot Lotto, $16.5 million Hot Lotto winner. Person who has purchased or owns this ticket probably doesn't know that they have it.
And then it was nearly a year. Now, believe it or not, the lottery officials actually...
Yeah, I was wondering how that happens. How do you know every time? Like, it's not a given that the person who won knows they won, right? Because I feel like there's hella people that probably fucking buy a ticket and just like kind of toss it or whatever. Do they re-roll? People who play the numbers don't forget. Okay, that's insane. I feel like I've had situations where like my grandfather has bought like a lottery ticket for me as a joke or as a meme or whatever. He used to always, oh my God, I just remembered a formative memory from my childhood. I would go to, when I visited the United States of America in the summers, every Sunday, I would go with my granddad to I think it was like a CVS or a Walgreens or something, that was in Freehold, New Jersey. Okay. Which then turned into a Wegmans for a little bit, I believe, but it wasn't a Wegmans for too long. It turned into like a H Mart, like an Asian Mart. Anyway, whatever, doesn't matter. But we would go there. And I would get a video game magazine that had the CD demos in it, and I would buy one Starbucks Frappuccino in the glass. I could not believe it. I loved going to the fucking Walgreens. I mean, it doesn't matter. Every single one of these stores, these convenience stores, was an incredible experience for me because, like, the bountiful journey of, like, 50 different types of Oreos, all this shit, I loved it, right? And we would go, and I would get, like a gaming magazine, and I would get one of those, like, big-ass Starbucks Frappuccinos in a bottle, which I could not understand how that was legal. I loved it. Okay. I was like, this is the greatest shit I've ever tasted. It's fucking so sick. And my grandfather would go and get a lottery ticket. And I don't think it was at Walgreens because do they even sell lottery tickets there? I don't fucking remember. Whatever. But he would always get a lottery ticket, which is really weird because he's a very smart guy. And I would always be like, why are you buying that? And he's like, one day I'm going to win it. You never did, but always thought that was odd. Even from the jump, from an early age.
Want the money to be claimed. You know, it's good PR to have the big winner holding a big old check. And in the meantime, they were flooded with over 200 fake winner claims. Oh, my friend who died in a car accident had the ticket. The winning ticket to my grandma's casket. But what the public didn't know was they had a video of the person buying the ticket along with the serial number. And anyone that wanted to take the claim had to verify both of those, which no one could nearly a year later. Now, public reminders were issued every single month, and it even made national news about this unclaimed ticket. because 1 year after that purchase date, the $16 million ticket would expire to nothing. Now, 30 days before the expiration date, Canadian attorney Philip Johnston called in and provided what no one else could, the correct serial numbers for the...
Wait, if it actually expires, why don't they just fucking scam people and be like, oops, it expired. Like, just roll a fake number that was never sold and then just collect the fucking revenue for the government and then do it over and over again. I wonder if they do that. Don't give them ideas. Bitch, it's gambling. It's legalized gambling that the government is doing. You understand that, right? It's one of the dumbest concepts of all time. You're not going to win it anyway. You're just buying it. It's already a scam. I love someone said the lottery is a scam if they don't actually offer the payout. What do you mean? It already is a scam. It's just that every aspect of our existence under late stage capitalism is so riddled to the fucking brim with numerous other scams that you have forgotten that this is an OG scam. This is the OG scam. Yes, it is a regressive tax on the poor. Now, of course, it's a scam that isn't the worst kind of scam because, like, that tax actually does end up, you know, funding resources. Does that make sense? But, you know, you think it's good that it goes towards funding these state schools and shit, right? Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I think it's the best kind of scam overall because it literally works to fund government services. The government does it. Yeah, the government runs the lottery, don't they? Or don't they tax it heavily? I think they either run it or they end up taxing it super heavily. I'm pretty sure, but I think they run it.
Winning lottery ticket, and he had said he had purchased the ticket himself, but then said he could not personally deliver the ticket because he was too sick to come down from Canada. Maybe it sounds a little sketch, but they asked him what he wore on the day that he bought it, and Philip paused. He was wearing a tweed jacket with dress pants and dress shoes. Now, although he gave the correct serial number, the man in the video buying the winning ticket was wearing a hoodie and sweatpants. He was lying, so they didn't give him the jackpot. Now, a week later, Philip Johnston calls in again, but now with a different story, stating that he had actually told a little white lie, that it wasn't him that bought the ticket, but he was representing the winner of it, and he was a wealthy man who wanted to remain anonymous. Now, there's just one problem with that. It's against the rules of the Iowa lottery. All winners' names have to be made public, but they still didn't want to reveal the winner's name. But then on the final day, down to the last hour before the $16 million ticket expired, an attorney from New York shows up with the actual winning ticket in his hand.
We've been looking for 365 days for this, and with 1 hour and 50 minutes left, the two individuals you just met brought us what we believe is the winning ticket for the Hot Lotto jackpot.
But this time, the ticket was signed by a trust in the Belize, and the trust beneficiary was a shell company in Belize. And who was the president of that shell company? Oh, it was Philip Johnston, the attorney that called in the first time.
We've got to make sure that we're paying the right amount and the money to the proper and appropriate persons, so we are not paying this particular ticket today.
Then, in a last-ditch effort, the attorneys asked if they could claim the money in cash and then turn it over to the state and they could give it to charity.
But lottery lawyers declined based on concerns about the legality of the purchase, possession, and presentation of the ticket.
We couldn't verify the winner.
Now, the attorneys were so angry at this point that they actually threatened to sue the Iowa lottery until they realized that they would have to actually reveal the real winner's name in the court case.
The lottery received yet another letter. The purchaser of the ticket has elected to remain anonymous and withdraw the...
What the fuck do they think? That's so dumb. How would you prove that? You would have to reveal the person's name. Okay. I mean, at that point, they have to know there's like some scammy shit happening, right? Because like this lawyer is kind of stupid.
The claim, and to think all that person had to do was provide birth date and address, and they would have walked away with millions of dollars.
And the $16 million jackpot went to no one. Now, why were they trying so hard to hide the name of this ticket winner? Was the
Iowa versus John Doe? No, but it would come up. His name would 100% be revealed in discovery. That's number one. Number two, John Doe is not a minor. Like, what do you mean? I don't think that you have any protections in that situation.
real winner possibly murdered, maybe a victim of blackmail, or maybe even theft? Either way, the whole thing stunk, and the FBI was called in to investigate. Now, it seemed a bit strange when Eddie Tipton, the security director for the multi-state lottery, lived in a 8,500 square foot mansion decked out with a 20-seat custom home theater and a basketball court. Now, Eddie didn't make that much money, his coworkers at the lottery often wondered how the hell could he afford a baller mansion when he only made about $90,000 a year. Now, he told his lottery coworkers that his house was just his one vice, and that even though he was single and in his 40s, that one day he was gonna have a huge family. And this story kind of made sense. It was 2007. A lot of people bought homes they couldn't afford. So no one, not even his coworkers at the lottery, suspected a thing.
My God!
Now, as the FBI...
See, turns out the house controversy is good, actually, because imagine they should have... If he had some fucking psychotic freaks following every step that he made, he could have also been doxxed. And then when he first bought the house, they could have yelled at him, and then they would have found out that he bought it by faking it.
I investigated the case.
Faking lottery
Kinda
wins.
went cold. There wasn't a lot of evidence. There's too many dead ends. Until 4 years later, it ended up on prosecutor Rob Sands' desk. Now, nobody expected him to get anywhere, but Rob Sands was the hot new prosecutor on the block that wanted to make a name for himself. But all Rob had to work with was a grainy video of the dude buying the ticket that they didn't know, and the name of some Better Call Saul Canadian attorney that called in with the winning ticket. So investigators flew up to Canada to interview the first attorney, but then he said that he was actually collecting the ticket on behalf of another attorney that was from Texas. And when they went to that attorney, he said the winning ticket had been given to him by Texas businessman Robert Rhodes. But Robert Rhodes looked and sounded nothing like the guy in that video. So 4 years after having the lottery drawing held, Rob Sands...
Bro, people do fucking crazy shit to avoid the top of the hour ad break. Like, imagine going through this level of scheming just to get a $5 top of the hour ad break avoider in the form of a subscription. That's crazy. But no matter what, at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break, and it comes for you. And if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 for free with the Twitch Prime. Right. You can also get gifted a sub. Maybe a lottery winner will gift a sub for you. Here's the 3-minute ad break now.
Released that video nationwide to ask for help in trying to identify the guy in that video, along with an audio track of his voice.
34 MKD50 is back with 50 big ones.
No thanks.
Now, within days,
It's also kind of sus that he was all geared up, like in a hoodie and shit, buying a lottery ticket. Like, it's wild.
thousands of people called in to the FBI, and it sounded like my grandpa, oh, it sounded like my coworker, but one name kept coming up. You see, dozens and dozens of lottery employees from across the country had called in and instantly recognized the voice as Eddie Tipton. But this was a little hard to believe. I mean, Eddie Tipton was the security director for the multi-state lottery, meaning he's the guy in charge of making sure no one cheated, and legally couldn't even buy lotto tickets. But what were the odds that Eddie Tipton could also pick the winning numbers? The coincidences were too far. So how are the winning numbers picked for the lottery? Well, back in the day, the numbers were put on ping pong balls, whipped around in a cage, and one by one were taken out in the public eye so everyone could see the contest was legit. But even this system had problems when lottery workers cheated the game by filling some of the balls with water to improve their own odds, and then
Bro, this makes no sense because, like, I feel like there needs to be a rule. That part, that thing was great. I feel like that concept was great. Remember what they stole from you. Remember what they took from you. Return to tradition. I'm sick and tired of this new lottery bullshit. But also, if you work for the fucking lottery company, you should not be allowed to win the lottery. Because it makes no sense. If a big part of the lottery structure relies on the confidence that people have that there will not be any kind of misdeed, okay? Oh, that is a rule. Okay, that makes sense. I was about to say, like, if any time a lottery, even if they, honest to God, bought a ticket and won the lottery, I'm going to be like, no, dog, that shit's crazy. That's cheating. You're fucking cheating. There's no way I'm sitting there and the fucking guy that's pulling the numbers wins the lottery. Like, get the fuck out of here. No shot. Not allowed. No, not being allowed to buy a ticket is not the same as, like, not being allowed to win, okay? It's the same reason why team owners and professional players are not allowed to bet on games within their own sport or games they're directly involved in. Yeah, I tell that to Michael Jordan. But also at the same time, I feel like nowadays with ESPN setting up like its own betting company and shit, I'm sure that rule will fucking change too. Because god damn it, dude. I feel like gambling makes the world go round.
When those balls exploded on live TV, a new system was needed. Now, today, lotteries pick the winning numbers using computers, but to understand the real genius of how Eddie Tipton cheated, we need to remember that computers never do anything randomly. So, how do you get a random number on a computer? Well, you actually kinda don't. So it starts with an input number and runs it through a complex math problem called the random number generator to output a final number that looks random. But if you have that same input number, you will always get that same final number, and that's kind of the problem. So to get a truly random final number, one that you could use for the lottery, you need a random input number. So lotteries measure the radiation of americium-241 in the air. That number's plugged into a random number generator, and that comes up with the winning lotto numbers. Now, what's americium-241, you might ask? Well, it's the microscopic nuclear fallout from weapons tests over the last 50 years that surrounds everyone on Earth. I mean, it really is no big problem. But remember, each time you take that same input number and run it through the math problem, you will always get that same final random number. So like in a perfect theoretical sense, it actually isn't random. But that was the crack that Eddie Tipton managed to exploit. Now, in January of 2015, Eddie Tipton was arrested for defrauding the Iowa lottery. Now, the feds had a decent amount of evidence against him. Video was clear, the audio analysis matched up with his voice, and even though Eddie said he was out of town the day that ticket was bought, well, his own phone records show that he was in that store at that time when the winning ticket was bought. Now, in custody, he lawyered up. He didn't say a word about how or if he even...
Okay, I take it back. He's working too hard to cheat. At that point, you got to let him have it. I'm a big advocate for, listen, you cheated, but like I thought it was just like straight up, you know, I don't know. I thought it was just like I wrote the number. Like I printed it out. You know what I mean? I know what the winning numbers are, and I just printed it out on my own or some shit. Like, that's a lot of effort still. You got to respect it a little bit. Come on. I'm just saying.
And did it, and the feds had no idea how he did it. So the only thing they could nail him for was buying a lottery ticket as a lottery worker.
Now again, these fraud charges against Tipton, we're told, are based solely on the belief that he attempted to falsely redeem.
I thought doing math was legal. Sorry. I'm being arrested for being too good at math, it seems. Kind of fucked up.
A lottery ticket, and have nothing to do with any evidence that he was somehow able to use his position and expertise to manipulate the game.
But then the skeletons came out of Eddie's closet, because Eddie had gotten his job as the director of security for the lottery.
If you respect the amount of work he put in to cheat, doesn't that mean you have to respect the amount of work involved to catch him? Don't give me that, okay? I'm siding with the crime on this one, okay? Everybody's trying to make it. You're right. It did take a lot of effort to catch him, which, you know, I put respect on the fucking cop in the situation. But like, a lot funnier if I support this guy instead.
Lottery as a convicted felon for burglary. How does that even happen? Now, in court, Eddie would demand a fast and swift trial, but prosecutor Rob Sands actually thought this was odd. Most white-collar criminals don't get caught on the first time they commit a crime. He thought maybe Eddie wanted to shorten the investigation time because maybe there was more fraudulent lottery tickets out there.
Yeah, I mean, his house would be it would give us an indication that there was probably more crime that had occurred thus far. There was a case of group of MIT students who calculated and figured out that a particular state lottery had a positive expected value. So they pooled money and bought an insane number of tickets and made off with millions. Oh, so these guys are allowed to steal? See, there you go. Why? Because they're from Massachusetts. Iowa hates his own, okay? Do you see that? These guys get celebrated. That guy, Iowa State Lottery, he's a state worker for the state of Iowa. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, nope, not allowed. They spent $600,000. Oh, okay, see, that's way lamer than what my man did.
That they hadn't discovered yet. Now, when Eddie was asked about who Robert Rhodes was to him, you know, the Texas business guy that had the $16 million ticket, well, Eddie said he had no idea who he was. He didn't know what he looked like. He never even heard of the name. But they were friends on Facebook. They had been co-workers for the last 10 years. They were best friends. When Eddie Tipton was asked what he did for work, he had failed to mention one little detail, that he was the guy that wrote the program that picked the winning lottery numbers. Now at this point it looked like an inside job, or it was a huge amount of coincidences that had led Eddie Tipton's best friend to win the lottery. Now, there was one huge problem with this entire case. The computer that the numbers were used to pick the winning lottery numbers had been wiped clean 3 times over. Now, although there was no evidence about how this actually happened, the feds had a decent theory. Now,
Look at this nerd, dude. Look at this guy. Just, oh, look at me. I'm trying to stop crimes from happening. Oh, yeah, I'm a nerd. Destroying the lives and livelihood of industrious men. I hope you don't feel happy about that.
Hot Lotto uses 2 computers that are locked in a room that only 5 people have access to. And you guessed it.
More like Narc Zuckerberg. Yeah.
Eddie Tipton was one of those people. Now, inside of that room, there's a locked plexiglass box that you need 2 keys from 2 employees to open up, and then they pick the winning lottery numbers. And this whole process is recorded on cameras 24/7. So how could have this hacking been done? Those cameras that record 1 frame every minute, meaning that theoretically, Eddie Tipton could have gone inside the room for some routine maintenance with another coworker. While that coworker was turned away, in the span of 59 seconds, Eddie Tipton could have put in a USB key, changed an estimated 2 lines of code, and then he would know what the winning lottery numbers are that only he would know about. But in Eddie's defense, there was no evidence of any of this. All of the witnesses testified Eddie Tipton was the man in that video. Even the person that had sold him that lotto ticket and the hot dog said it was him. But Eddie Tipton's defense had a rebuttal to that. They said that that was actually impossible because Eddie Tipton is not a hot dog guy, that he's more...
Yes! Dude, first of all, that's a lie, okay? Let me tell you something. I saw one fucking frame of this man more than the cameras ever saw, and that's a fucking hot dog guy, okay? I do not give a fuck what his team of lawyers and legal experts are saying. That's a man who likes a good brat, okay? That's a brat boy right there. Get the fuck out of here. He absolutely is a hot dog guy. As a matter of fact, that's probably why he lost the lawsuit, because the judge took one look at him and went, no, my boy, you are a glizzy gobbler, okay? You are a glizzy guzzler. There is 0% chance. I mean, you like burgers too, for sure, but you definitely are a hot dog boy. Let me tell you something. A lot of you are saying, oh, he's a hamburger guy. You are Philistines. Want to know why? Because who amongst us doesn't love a fucking bacon cheeseburger, okay? I love it. Do I prefer it to a hot dog? Absolutely. Let me explain something to you. Okay? Let me explain something to you. You go to a 7-Eleven, are you going to have the fucking burgers or are you going to have the hot dog? Are you going to have the pizza? No, you're going to have the hot dog. It's the most edible thing because a hot dog is low quality meat stick across the board. The hot dog that you get at 7-Eleven is going to be close to a hot dog that you get as a dirty water dog in the corner street of a New York City subway station, okay? It's consistent. So it does not matter. Your Honor, it does not matter whether his personal preference is a hamburger or not, because all of us are hot dog guys. When we sit right there at the counter of a 7-Eleven, we are all united as Americans as hot dog people. Case closed. I switched it on him. I'm the nerdy prosecutor now. That's how I would close it out. I rest my case.
Is not a hot dog guy, that he's more of a jack-in-the-box man. And honestly, I can tell. So what happened here? Eddie Tipton bought the winning lottery ticket, gave that to a good friend named Robert Rhodes, who then gave it to his attorney, who then gave it to another attorney that specializes in hiding money.
Now, a lot of people in the chat keep saying taquitos all day, but like, dude, as soon as you say that, visually in my mind, I'm like, I cannot imagine like an edible taquito. I immediately think like crusty ass, like the cheese on the corner of the taquito is like basically turned into black. It's not even brown anymore. It's like black from fucking rolling around on that steel thing all day, every day. No, I'm telling you, those shits are fucking gross and stale. If you want the same consistency in your food that you're about to have, you would go for a hot dog. 100p. Hot dogs are the same quality in most places that you go to. And that's why it absolutely is the option, is the choice there, okay?
And that's how he got to the situation. So Eddie had access, Eddie knew how to commit the crime, there were cell phone records, Facebook messages, all going back 10 years that linked him to Robert Rhodes. So the jury would rule guilty, and Eddie would be sentenced to 10 years in jail. But the story is far from over. Now, remember when Eddie said he wanted a fast and swift trial, and Rob Sands thought maybe that was a little bit odd because there was more fraud out there? Well, after the trial, the feds would comb through 44,000 winning lottery tickets across all of the states for over a decade. And they would cross-reference the winners with Eddie Tipton's Facebook friends, phone numbers, LinkedIn's, and some strange coincidences.
Okay, once again, you have to respect the hustle. This man was able to operate a fucking crime ring off of Facebook mutes, okay? Moots, Facebook moots. That is so respectable. Nowadays, you can't even be the fucking president and ask for 11,780 votes in the state of Georgia, okay? Without a bitch getting in your ear telling you how illegal that is, okay? I'm just saying, this motherfucker was doing it in broad daylight with like multiple loose ends without even tying them. You got to put some respect on it. You have to. It's kind of sweet. It's kind of sick.
Coincidences came up. On November 23rd, 2005, Eddie Tipton's brother won a $600,000 jackpot in Colorado. Eddie Tipton's program was used in Colorado. On December 29, 2007, Robert Rhodes had won $800,000 in Wisconsin. Eddie Tipton's program was used in Wisconsin. On November 23rd, 2011, Kyle Kahn, who was a good friend of Eddie Tipton's brother, won $1.2 million in Oklahoma. Eddie Tipton's program was used there. And on December 29, 2010, in Kansas, Eddie Tipton's
Ooh-wee! That right there is a sexy lady. Let me tell you, I see that Barbusi from a mile away, brother. Look at that tattoo. God damn it.
ex-girlfriend that he met on eHarmony won $22,000. Was all this a bit strange? Was this all just God's coincidences? Now, besides Eddie Tipton being the main connection, you might notice that it was only 2 dates that were winning, November 23rd and December 29th. Now, again, I mean, there was no evidence of this program until they found
only got
a storage
22K.
unit that had one computer that was used to do the winning lotto numbers in 2007. Right there in plain sight on the computer, they discovered the code that Eddie had actually used, and it was exactly how they theorized. On those 2 dates, it would put in a specific input number so that the random number generator would be something that Eddie always knew for the winning numbers for the lottery. So with enough evidence to tie him to 5 hacked lottery drawings, Eddie Tipton finally confessed.
Mr. Tipton,
Dude, this kind of, I'm not even kidding. Like, I miss this shit. Like, I do have some level of respect for this kind of grit, this kind of entrepreneurial mindset, especially when, like, all level of scams have basically moved to such low effort, bottom of the barrel bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, this guy earned it. Come on. In your heart of hearts, you know he kind of earned it. The amount of effort he put into this, like, he actually requires a degree. He actually needs to have like some, understanding of math. He was able to organize a ring of like random Debras and Barbaras from all around the country to be able to like facilitate this. And nowadays it's like the opposite. You know what I mean? It's just like, get my mindset mentality course for $50 a month. Like, I've decided I can imagine not being poor, and then all of a sudden I'm rich. And if you're just as stupid as I am, fucking buy my course, and then boom, all of a sudden you're making like $100,000 a month. I hate that shit. It looks like he might be giving his winnings to RFK Jr. though, dead ass. Wait, what do you mean? Omi and a Hellcat had a product at least? Oh, dude, I am a Omi and a Hellcat truther, okay? I believe he should not have even touched the inside of a prison. I don't think so. He made his own Ocean 7-Eleven. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's not even a joke. Like, literally. These guys are doing Middle America Ocean's 11, you know, straight up. Everything nowadays is just like another crypto rug pull. It just sucks. It sucks ass. There's no work. Nobody wants to work anymore. And this, yes, includes scammers. Okay. I saw a tweet about that earlier today. Nobody wants to work anymore. Serial killers. There are no active serial killers nowadays. You know what I mean? No one is doing a job that used to mean something. Okay. No one. Society has fallen apart. We must return to tradition. Okay, we got to bring back serial killers, and we got to bring back actual confidence men that used to do like big ticket scams like this.
I'm Kim from KCCI. What's your reaction to the sentencing today?
Shock. That's it.
But Eddie claimed that he was never in the lottery scam business and actually said he was an accidental felon. He said one day he was playing around with the program and realized a crucial flaw, noticed he could exploit it, and then just left the hacked program there for over a decade. I mean, all the situation was a geeky computer hacker who was just messing around with the program, who's so genius that he just, sorry. And Eddie really believes this, stating, I'm a single guy making about $100,000 a year. I didn't need the money. With that, Eddie Tipton will be sentenced to 25 years in prison, but you would be surprised to learn Eddie's out on parole and still claims that he had never done it.
25 years in prison is unimaginable. 25 for that is crazy. God damn. People just don't have time for hobbies anymore. Yeah. Libs thinks Chicago has a serial killer. Wait, really? Omi is literally a good and kind guy. He did nothing wrong and they indicted him. Hasanabi, he quite literally didn't hurt a single soul. He provided an amazing service for hella people, so it's weird. Our laws are so disgusting. Yeah, I agree. I do agree. My uncle got 25 years for murder. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 25 is murder charge, man. That's crazy. I mean, kind of unacceptable. Long Island serial killer was caught like 2 months ago. What do you mean? Rex Human? Put some respect on his name? Wait, really? I don't know. I love stuff like this, man. I put a lot of respect on this, okay?